So now we want to go on and think about the ovarian cycle, also called the menstrual cycle. Now, the monthly sexual cycle is sometimes called the ovarian cycle, but also called the menstrual cycle or the endometrial cycle. And the purpose of the ovarian cycle is to prepare the lining of the uterus to receive a fertilized ovum. If an ovum is fertilized, it implants itself in the prepared vascular endometrium. As the endometrium is vascular, it's able to provide oxygen and nutrients for the developing embryo until the placenta develops. Now, an average ovarian cycle is 28 days long, although there can be considerable variation in this time. Day 1 of the menstrual cycle is defined as the first day of menstruation because it's obvious when this occurs. The first half of the menstrual cycle is termed the follicular phase, and this phase ends with ovulation, which typically occurs on day 14, although of course this may vary as well. And the second half of the cycle is termed the luteal phase and continues from ovulation to the onset of the next menstrual period. And actually it's this second half of the menstrual cycle which is most consistently around 14 days. So if a cycle was 30 days, ovulation probably occurred about day 16. And it's possible to intimate this by looking backwards, but we can't use this, unfortunately, as a way to forecast when ovulation is likely to occur. So what I've sketched out here is a typical ovarian cycle, also called a menstrual cycle. And this cycle goes from day 1 to day 28. And in the middle, we have day 14. And we're going to start off by considering an idealised menstrual cycle. So how do we know when the menstrual cycle begins? Well, that's quite easy, because we have the onset of menstruation on the first day of the menstrual cycle, and that will go on for the first 5 to 7 days of the menstrual cycle. As the endometrium formed the previous month is discharged, or the inner lining of the endometrium formed the previous month is discharged through the vagina. So day 1 is the day that menstruation is first noted. And then, of course, the end of the menstrual cycle will be when the menstruation occurs again at the start of the next menstrual cycle. So that will be day 28. Now, ovulation classically occurs on day 14 of the menstrual cycle. So the ovum will release, or the ovum will be released from the ovary on day 14 of the idealised menstrual cycle. Now, it's interesting that sperm can live inside the female genital tract for perhaps up to 5 days. So if that was day 7 there, that would be day 9. Then sperm can live for up to 5 days in the female genital tract. And certainly they can readily live for up to 3 days. That will take us up to day 11. So sperm can live for up to 5 days and certainly easily live for 3 days and remain in very viable numbers. When you're discussing this, it depends whether you're wanting to optimise conception or to minimise conception. Let's think about, first of all, minimising conception. So to minimise conception, obviously sexual intercourse shouldn't take place during this period of time. This will be the fertile period. And in addition to that, the ovum can last for about 24 hours once it's been released. 12 to 24 hours. So in theory, the period where conception could occur is if sexual intercourse occurs between day 9 and day 15.